Ebe is an RPG horror game where you play as a little girl named Ebe. She visits an art exhibition with her parents which features the work of an artist named Gertenna. Ebe wanders the gallery by herself and eventually comes across a strange painting. When she goes to examine it, the gallery suddenly changes and Ebe finds that all the visitors but her have disappeared. Painted writing on the wall draws Ebe down through a floor painting into a fabricated world where the art pieces come to life and she must escape before they kill her. This game has just three main characters, Ebe, Mary, and Gary. Each one of the three have a rose that represents them. The roses play a very important part in this game. They act as a health meter for the characters, as once a person picks up their rose, their life becomes linked with it. Ebe has the red rose, representative of love, courage, and respect. Gary has the blue one, representative of mystery, attaining the impossible, and miracles. And Mary has the yellow rose, representative of jealousy, emotion, and betrayal. Should these roses lose their petals, the holder would perish. Ebe herself never speaks, and her personality is shaped by the actions that the player makes her take. She's only 9 years old, which adds an interesting component that there are certain words within the gallery that she doesn't know. When reading inscriptions on the wall, question marks will appear in place of clearly important phrases that one might need in order to survive the world of the gallery. Shortly into the game, Ebe comes across Gary, and later Mary. Gary has no official age, but most assume he's around 20 given that he's referred to as an adult several times, though he sure doesn't act like one. The two quite literally run into Mary, who says that she too is searching for an escape from the gallery. Mary is roughly the same age as Ebe and immediately takes a shine to the other girl. We also have Ebe's mom and dad, however they only appear at the beginning and end of the game and have very little to do with the actual plot. These two mostly function as a means to get across the exposition to the player. Honestly, the enemies of the game have more character than the parents. We have the painting ladies, the headless sculptures, and the blue dolls, all of which can and will kill you if given the chance. The story of the game has several branching paths based on the decisions that the player makes. The first time through, a player is bound to get an ending that they don't like. I know I did. The game is affected through decisions that you don't even think about when you're playing at first. Even the tiniest of variations in conversations with other characters can be the deciding factor in how your playthrough turns out. There are 10 endings as of the most recent update, none of which are a perfect ending. Some are definitely happier and more satisfying than the others, but no matter what, there's a bittersweet feeling. The environment of the fabricated world within the gallery maintains an eerie vibe throughout the game. The rooms fluctuate between a grayscale and deeply saturated colors, but neither of these color schemes lend themselves to a relaxing atmosphere. Late in the game, we even enter a storybook world where everything is drawn in the style of a child's drawings. Ebe incorporates a lot of little details that are truly a testimony to how much love went into the game. It encourages you to read about all of the paintings along the wall, as you need to explore your surroundings if you want to solve the puzzles and progress in the game. As a result, the player learns a lot about the artist Gertenna and how his works came to have a life of their own. The puzzles are built on interesting mechanics that challenge the player without being impossible. About midway through the game, the party gets separated, and you have to go between the two groups to progress further. Changing something with one character affects things on the other group's end. Some characters are able to affect things within the environment that other characters are not. For example, Ebe is a child who is unable to move heavy objects, while Gary is an adult who can. With the sporadic, panic-inducing nature of a few of the scenes, there's a lot of trial and error for the player. Many portions require you to throw Ebe into harm's way to obtain an item necessary to progress, and this can lead to the poor child's untimely demise. If it's your first time playing and you don't know where you're supposed to get an item from, you're more likely to get yourself killed, so saving often is encouraged. I'll always have a soft spot for Ebe, with it being the first horror game I actually played for myself. I mean, I played BioShock, but I don't really see it as a full-blooded horror game. I went into Ebe kind of knowing what I was in for, but knowing you're playing a horror game is different from actually having to play it and react in time to the situations that you're put into. There are definitely elements that I noticed don't hold up as I was replaying the game. It's kind of hard to determine what some of the game sprites actually are at first glance, which can make looking for parts of the puzzles difficult. Certain parts of the game are pretty unforgiving, where if you don't save right before them, you die and you have to backtrack a while back. But aside from these few issues I have, the game has an excellent story and characters, and you can play the whole game in just a few hours. I recommend this game to anyone who likes puzzle horror games, and you can get it for free from the game's official site. It does, however, only work on Windows computers, but you can get software to get around this on a Mac. That's all for this review. Thanks for watching.